they're going to educate you on, what are your options? What are things you're going to be dealing with? Because a lot of times it's the only sale you go through. I mean, there certainly are business owners that have sold more than one business and have gone through the experience, but the first time you go through it, it's like, it's very, there's just so much to it that there's no way that you're going to really be able to anticipate everything that you're going to deal with.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Richer Geek Podcast. Today we have Joseph LoPresti. He's a seasoned founder of Arlington Wealth Management, 39 years financial services industry, and a history spanning more than 2 decades at the helm of his firm. His career is shaped by a critical view of Wall Street sales-dominated culture. Imagine that. He forged a new path that led him to develop a proprietary investment methodology. His deep conviction that hard-earned wealth should be actively safeguarded. I agree. It's become the cornerstone of his unique client relationship centered around achieving security and prosperity, peace of mind. Joseph, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, Michael?
Good. Doing well. I always start, give me a little bit about your background. What made you, get into founding Arlington Wealth Management, and how you kind of rose through the ranks to start your own thing.
Yeah, sure. So as you mentioned in my intro, that Wall Street culture really didn't resonate with me. So I fairly quickly, I've been in the industry for 39 years. So I've been at the helm of Arlington Wealth Management, a company that I founded 25 years ago. So I fairly quickly early in my career, I would say, gravitated toward wanting to do my own thing, carve my own path, and not necessarily be tied down to the sales culture that permeates a lot of Wall Street. I found. Um, so I'm a founder of Arlington Wealth Management. I'm fortunate enough to also have my daughter as a employee at this point, and could be a natural succession, for me, along with some others as well, that are involved at our firm. So in, having that founding experience and being a business owner and entrepreneur, I've gravitated more towards working with other entrepreneurs and helping them coordinate their personal wealth planning with their business strategy, and making sure it all is fitting together to really live the life that they want to live.
Yeah. So, talking about this, we've had several wealth management guys, and it's a very broad spectrum of helping people out. It sounds like you're a little, you lean more towards a business owner instead of just maybe a wealthy CEO or someone that is a VP of something. You kind of focus on a business owner.
Yeah, that's the niche that we've been focusing on now for some time. We do have other clients that are not business owners from more of our legacy clients, but we really there's 4,000 independent wealth management firms like mine in the country. So what we really find is there aren't great choices for business owners that are wealth managers that really understand the unique, needs and concerns that business owners have. So that's why we think there's a big void there in the advice that business owners get from financial advisors or wealth managers.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a business owner myself. Been so for 27 years, and it wasn't until recently. It's like going, I finally got a CFO, and it's like, and they're, they do the CPA, they do the management. I can't do anything without their them telling me that I'm allowed to. But it was just amazing, and maybe you can expand on this. Is I was like going, wow, why didn't I start my own KEO or IRA? I didn't know. I thought you had to be an employee to start some of these things. I just kind of took owner draws and put it in the bank, and maybe it was a limited partner in some things, but, talk to us a little bit about what are some of the things that, if you're a business person out there, what can we do? What are some of the things that you recommend?
Yeah, boy, that's wide open. So one of the great things about being a business owner is the tax code is very favorable for formation of small businesses and the owners, because of course we employ a lot of people, and it's in the government's interest that small businesses could thrive. Um, there's just so many different opportunities, and I find it really matters what's important to the owner, in
Hmm.
terms of what they are trying to achieve with their life, what are their essential life goals, and then how could we use the tax code and the opportunities that the government gives you to be able to really benefit from that and optimize your personal wealth.
Hmm.
So, of course, the retirement plans that you brought up are, you know, probably one of the more commonly used ways to accumulate wealth from a tax efficiency standpoint. But there are a number of other ways as well, of course, depending on the business, the industry, what stage of career the owner's in, or if they're more in the growth stage and
Hmm.
building, or if they're more in maybe thinking about the sunset stage and getting to that, thinking about what their end game is going to look like. Then, of course, there are a lot of just different opportunities depending on those situations.
So if we're trying to monetize our, like the business value, maximize my personal wealth, um, what are some of the things that, like at the beginning, what are some of the things I should be thinking about? It's like, okay, look, I of course I want to maximize my personal wealth, but I want to also monetize my business value. What are some of the things that you're telling your entrepreneurs, how we can juggle both sides of that?
Yeah. So there's a few things. One is we like to help a business owner develop a personal action plan, which is really thinking about what their end game is going to look like
Hmm.
and having it thought out, looking at who they ultimately would want to transition the business to. Is it a sale? Is it an
Hmm.
internal transition or a family succession? Who would the ideal buyer be in their mind? Will they have a role in the company
Hmm.
after the sale, and if so, how long and how much? How do you want the employees to be treated? What does your life look like? All those sorts of things that if you think that through ahead of time, then you could design the exit on your terms.
Hmm.
If you don't have that thought through, then you're just kind of going about it haphazardly, and you get you get what the market offers, at that point.
Hmm.
So I think that's important, from a business, from a personal standpoint. We really advocate for the business owner. So you mentioned a CFO earlier.
Hmm.
We hold ourselves out as being the personal CFO for the business owner
Yeah.
that really, coordinates everything about their needs and their dreams, their goals, and what they're trying to achieve, and then develop plans around that from a business standpoint as well as personal wealth planning. And advanced tax reduction enters a lot into that for each of our clients.
Yeah.
Um, we like to think about what we call the freedom point,
Okay.
when for everybody to know what their freedom point is, and that's when they've accumulated enough wealth to do whatever they want, whenever they want, within, of course, the bounds of reason.
Hmm.
But when they could really live their ideal life without worrying about money and financial constraints, and that extends well beyond just the financial aspect. It's being able to spend the time how they want to spend time, whether it's working in the business or not. Uh, the freedom of relationships, of who they're spending their time with, what types of clients, and
Hmm.
or personal relationships. So all of those things I think are important. And what I find is just very surprising is most business owners have no clue. of what their freedom point is.
We're too busy working, I mean, just day to day. We have the
Yeah.
blinders on, right? I mean, it's like I can't even think about that right now. And what you're saying is we need to start thinking about that pretty early, right? So that we go on the right path.
Yeah. It's good to know. I find a lot of times business owners are at their freedom point because we'll put together a detailed, like, lifetime cash flow plan for
Hmm.
them. And it'll look at everything, what they need to do, excuse me, everything that they want in life, what the tax liability is likely to be. From there, we can then, of course, plan ways to make improvements. But it just helps them understand if they're at their freedom point, or if they're not, what do they have to build the value of their business up to
Hmm.
get to their freedom point. And of course, you make decisions much differently whether you're at your freedom point or if you need to grow more to get to your freedom point.
Yeah, and that is the importance, that I've also learned of having, what you're saying, a personal CFO or even a fractional CFO or whatever it is, that guy that is more than a CPA, more than an advisor. It's someone that meets with you on a regular basis, right? And says, look, you need to do this, you need to do this. We're looking at this. You need to, it's like they told me I need to create my own foundation. It's like, yeah, I give a lot to charity, and I do these things, and I do this, and they said, well, you know what, we're going to have a foundation to help you with that. Is that some of the things that you guys do, and what's the importance of having that? You talked a little bit about the personal CFO, but kind of dig in a little bit, just how much help that a personal or fractional CFO can give you.
Yeah. So the CFO is going to be the person who really that you're working the closest with. So you have advisors, right? You
Hmm.
have a CPA, you may have a financial advisor, attorneys, business consultants, whoever it is that you're working with. But they're really giving you what I call more isolated or siloed advice. The accountant
Yeah.
talks about accounting, and the financial advisor finances, but the
Hmm.
personal CFO is going to coordinate all that into a
Yeah.
unified strategy, and make sure that opportunities are being brought to your attention that you probably aren't even aware of
Hmm.
today. That's an important one because business owners, they don't know what they don't know. And
Hmm.
sometimes they think they know everything, but
Hmm.
maybe that's just for their business. They don't know what they're missing in their personal finances, or how to coordinate the business strategy with their personal finances. The personal CFO is going to make sure you're not missing something important in your own thinking, and really just be that guide, that takes you from where you are
Yeah.
today to ultimately where you want to go, and help you navigate down the right path.
Yeah, it is so important. And you hit it right on the, I know everything about the business and the business finances, but when it comes down to my own stuff, once it trickles down to me, it was just absolutely amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are listening and you're a business owner, um, that it changed my life. My family's life having that CFO. Because now it's like, okay, I'm getting ready to sell this. What do I do? You know, I don't
Yeah.
have to sit there and say, well, I don't know. I mean, it just goes into the account, or they slap me upside the head and said, don't do that. Uncle Sam's going to get too much. So it's just it was eye opening, um, on, but it's so nice to have that trust that you can bring to someone, and say, how do I do this? I'm thinking about doing this, and you just have that expertise, right? I mean, it's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah, I
let's,
think I think personal CFO is going to help educate you on your options. Like if you are
mhm,
in that stage of going through a sale or
yeah,
beginning to prepare for a sale, they're going to educate you on
hmm,
what are your options, what are things you're going to be dealing with, because a lot of times it's the only sale you go through. I mean, there certainly are business owners that have sold more than one business and have gone
yeah,
through the experience, but the first time you go through it, it's like, it's very, there's just so much to it that
Mhm.
there's no way that you're going to really be able to anticipate everything that you're going to deal with. But somebody who's gone through it with other business owners,
Yeah.
I don't want to say hold your hand, but can hold your hand and kind of, like I said, be the guide to help you understand everything you're going to be dealing with,
Hmm.
and help you make smart decisions and not, miss something that later you're going to regret.
Yeah. It's like they're saying, Mike, why are you just taking all this owner draws in the salary and you're not putting any pre-tax, they're like, how much money you've lost. And I'm like, oh no, because I don't have a clue. I don't know. Um, so not only do they save you in a lot of things, but it's like they actually save you money. So it's really, really good, and I appreciate what you guys do for businesses. Um, so talk about, at what point in the business life or the entrepreneur's life do they need to start thinking about like a personal CFO, or starting to really gather, is there a monetary value or a worth, employees, because I don't think you need that many employees. It's not that there are people who makes tens of millions of dollars, it's just them, because
Yeah.
they invest. But at what point should I sit there and say, you know what, I need to give Joe a call?
Yeah. So I think business owners should always start with at least an idea of what the end game ideally
Hmm.
would look like, because there's just so many decisions you can make along the way. But the reality is, most business owners really start to give this serious thought. I tend to find when they're, say age 55 and up.
Hmm.
Now think about when I say that, when I'm talking about our founding entrepreneurs, people that
Yeah.
started a company, they founded it, they've
Yep.
been kind of building this baby for, decades. And now they're getting to the point where they may never want to sell. They enjoy what
Hmm.
they do a lot of times, and it's what they identify with is their business that they built. But they know, it's inevitable. And one way or another, one thing you can count on is you're going to exit your business. So, you might as well plan that out, be proactive about it, and have it be on your terms, in your way. And that's the only way to do it without regrets later on.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's kind of twofold. I own hotels, so it's, you sell one hotel, and I'm like, I'm going to make 2.5 million on this or that. And it's like, okay, what, I can 1031 it, or what if I do, and do I do owner? What happens if I take an owner? Can I do this? Can I do that? And they're like going, do this, do that. And it really takes the planning on when I sell an asset away, because it's like I let you handle it.
Yeah.
They say, okay, yep, you're going to do 1031. You're allowed to take this type of money out, these fees, and this is what you do with that money. You're going to put them in pre-tax this, pre-tax. I would have never done any of that. I'd just gone out and just put it
Yeah.
in the bank. No.
Yeah. They're helping you optimize. And that's really what it's all about. I mean, you put a lot of hard work into that business, and you don't want to, you don't want to make decisions that aren't going to be optimal.
Hmm.
Right. So, and it's not always about just making optimal decisions, just making the ones that are right for you and knowing what your options are so you can make informed decisions.
Hmm.
Right. Without having that CFO, you wouldn't even known
Right.
about many of your options, right, that you had.
Absolutely. And they've saved me so much money. I mean, they look at the taxes, they look at this, and I know you do that, and they say, Mike, from day one, we can save you $80,000 a year because you're not doing this, 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 and this. And you're not taking these deductions. You're not doing all this sort of stuff. And I'm like going, oh my God, where were you guys 15 years ago? You know, uh,
Yeah.
um, so
Well, that's what
it
I was
is.
saying earlier, where most business owners don't think about
Right.
that until they get a little bit later stage of their
Hmm.
career, because not only they're building businesses, they have a family, and they're a young family, and they're busy with family life in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
So there's only so much they could juggle.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's true. So let's talk about, a little bit. You talk about the proactive planning team, or like a virtual
Yeah.
family office. I'm very interested in learning a little more about that? Because I haven't heard about what a virtual family office is or a proactive planning team. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so a proactive planning team is a team of advisors that you work closely with. Most times it's whether it's if you have a CFO or
Hmm.
you have a financial advisor or you have an accountant, it's really the advisors that you're talking to most
Hmm.
frequently, and they form a team, and that team is there to guide you, to help you make the right decisions, that really knows what you're after, what you're trying to accomplish, what are your essential life goals, and they're going to be able to guide you in the right direction.
Hmm.
Now, in today's day and age, there's no one person or even a couple of people that could have all of the knowledge about financial opportunities,
Yeah.
financial strategies. Think of it this way: the tax code is something like 175,000 pages.
Hmm.
So the best and brightest uh, advisors, there's no way they know all of it.
Yeah.
So we formed a virtual family office, which is a deep bench of specialists that we could bring in that have a deep amount of knowledge, let's say an inch deep and an inch wide and a mile deep in a specific section of the tax code.
Hmm.
So if we identify that this could be a potential solution for you, we could bring in an expert in that area of the tax code that could implement solutions for you,
Hmm.
and are experts at implementation of strategies with significant tax benefits.
Wow. I mean, that's impressive. I mean, it just, you hear that, ladies and gentlemen. It's like, let's focus on our business. And what I say is, as an entrepreneur, let's stick to our lane, right? Which is what we do in the business, and let all of you guys handle. I hate accounting. I hate finance, that sort. So I'm more economy, you know,
Yeah,
economic type thing, and economics and accounting. You guys do the credits and debits backwards, and it's just, you know, a negative is a positive, and I'm like, what? I don't know,
they
you
do
know.
that on purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, just to have a job at the end of the day. Let's just make everything opposite of what it should be. But joking aside, it is just absolutely fantastic, and it
Yeah,
just.
to kind of explain that a little bit further, think about ultra wealthy families. Let's say somebody sells a business for hundreds of millions of dollars or
Hmm.
billions of dollars. They tend to have their own family office, their own
Hmm.
team
Yep.
of advisors that work just for that family,
Yep.
and handle all of their finances, their accountant, their real
Hmm.
estate, their insurance, etc.
Hmm.
But that's very expensive to
Hmm.
to have all of those people on a staff. So a virtual family office is kind of like a fractional family office where
Hmm.
we have over 80 different professionals and specialists in different areas. It's taxes, it's wealth management, it's risk mitigation, it's legal services, and it's business advisory services. And so these are people that are available for all of our clients and clients of other advisors that are part of this program, this virtual family office,
Hmm.
that we could bring in kind of on, let's call it a plug and play type of relationship. So it's affordable for our clients, but they're still getting that family office experience without the expense of having their own family office.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I figured it's like, yeah, well, I'm not a billionaire. I'll never have a family office.
Right.
But it's actually really cool because it allows people that are getting there, not quite there, kind of have the availability of those experts, and I think that's really good. Before we leave, let's talk about your book, Exit by Design. Let's discuss that, a little bit.
Yeah. So Exit by Design is a book that I co-authored with my daughter, Marissa. And it really was written because of we believe there's a void in the level of advice that business owners are receiving, particularly from financial advice and advanced planning.
Mhm.
So as we talked about earlier, business owners tend to work with several different advisors, but each
Mhm.
one has their own silo that they're experts in. And what they really need is coordination of all of that advice and have it be optimized around their needs and their goals. So there's a unified strategy, and it's all working for them and what they want to achieve in life.
And everybody, it's Arlington Wealth Management, Joseph LoPresti. The book is Exit by Design. Joe, where can people find you?
Yeah, and there's a website for the book too. So any listener can go to exitbydesign.com and they could download an ebook version or an audio version if they want for free. And they could connect with me there if they want to. And of course, our company website is arlington-wealth.com, and they could connect with me there as well.
Fantastic. Joe, I appreciate you coming on the Richer Geek Podcast. Have a wonderful evening.
You as well, Michael. Thanks.